Real Nerds is a proud partner of the Denver Podcast Network. In the shadow of the mountains, we speak.
Hello, everybody. I'm JD Lopez, the host of Left Hand, Right Brain. It's a free-flowing, wide-ranging conversation that I have with artists doing interesting and creative things here in Denver and beyond. We talk about their personal stories, break down their creative process, and what motivates them. Spoiler alert, it's mostly spite. We talk about all these things and more while kicking back, cracking wise, and always having a good time. You can find old episodes and everything you need to know at lefthandrightbrainpod.com.
Oh, hi, podcast listeners. There's many ways you can listen to the Real Nerds podcast. You can subscribe on iTunes. You can also subscribe on Stitcher Radio. You want to send us a Twitter message? You can do that. It's so easy, at Real Nerds. Like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com, where there'll be a lot of articles for you to not only read, but to listen to our previous shows. You can also call us, 720-6nerds5. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
I'm Andre Gower.
And I'm Ryan Lambert.
And you're listening to
Real Nerds Podcast.
What up, nerds? Brad here, just jumping in on this episode to let you know that I have a new movie coming out this Sunday, August 11th, at the C Film Center called Solve for X. Solve for X. Come see it at the C Film Center, August 11th at 8:30. Buy your tickets online at denverfilm.org.
Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Pop Culture Con 2020 and beyond. I am Ryan, and today it's a lonely room because it's only Zach and I.
No fucking way.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's damn true.
This is the Hobbs and Shaw of the Real Nerds podcast here. We will never work well together.
Speaking of which, every week on Real Nerds Podcast, we go to a movie, and we podcast our experience of the world. This week we saw Fast and Furious Presents, a Universal Pictures production.
In association with Comcast Company.
Hobbs and Shaw.
A division of Walt Disney Corporation, eventually.
Yeah. It really, the title really reminds me of Marvel's The Avengers.
Kind of.
No, just.
Do you want to know what it reminds me of? Another Universal property, American Pie Presents Bandcamp, The
Totally.
Naked Mile.
What?
Is this the only Presents that actually says Presents that's been theatrically released?
I think so, because
Ooh.
that too. And is it really necessary? Everybody knows who these guys are, right?
No, but it's branding. I
know.
get it. I mean, like, you know what sucks though? My ticket says Fast Furious. It doesn't say Hobbs Shaw or Hobbs Sh.
Yeah.
You know, like, the way it
Bullshit.
cuts off. Like, if I go to did you go to the Alamo
Yeah.
for it? So it just says Fast and Furious Presents, right?
I don't know. I do my season pass, so it just shows up on my phone.
That's right. I forgot. You're lucky.
That's right.
We saw Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw and Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene.
Yeah. Stay tuned, because we're going to tell you if you should see the film or not, and then we're going to play the trailer and spoil it. And there's actually spoilers in this film, so...
Yeah. Well, there are Fast and Furious-esque spoilers in the movie.
Well, there's also some cameos in it that...
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Kind of... like, yep.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, stay tuned for that. We also talk about movies we've been watching, movie news, and movies that are coming out on Blu-ray. And I'm going to put you on the spot, Zach, because we haven't... you and I don't do these very often together.
No, I know. Like I said, this is the Hobbs and Shaw. Like, I feel like I am a Statham and you are The Rock.
Sweet.
And then I just don't know who Idris Elba is in this particular situation. Maybe it's James.
He's Black Superman.
He's Black Superman.
I am Black Superman.
Oh, God. We'll talk about this movie. But anyway, you were going to put me on the spot.
Yeah, so people may or may not know that you've lost 100 pounds?
No, 70 to 80.
So
I can't remember the exact number right now.
So pretty good.
Yeah.
And I just thought it'd be a good opportunity to share this with people, just maybe really quickly, because one of the things that you're doing that I think might help people who listen to the show is you go to VASA and you run, or do you just walk?
It depends. So yeah, quick quick recap on it. I do Vaza Fitness, which it's not necessarily to give them a plug. They're a great gym.
But what I was thinking is because you do their cinema, and they play a movie there, and that's helped you, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
And stay on track. And so, what made you decide that you were going to just do this? And because people can't see it, but you look really good, and I think we should, celebrate that.
Well, first of all, really good is a subjective thing. You see me with sparkling eyes and diamonds around me.
I do.
I'll tell you though, because I didn't start doing it right away. I initially started working out because I was 300 pounds. I had just had an injury. I was recovering from an injury with my foot, and I was still drinking. So I was like, well, I want to start doing something to improve myself. And I started watching Netflix on my phone, and I was like, man, I'd love to count the calories sometime. Cut to, I want to say October. I'm already I've kicked the alcohol 4 months in. I've lost about 30 pounds just from stopping the drinking and stopping the soda. And then Beetlejuice was scheduled to play, and I was like, I haven't watched Beetlejuice in a while. And I watched it again, and I remember the first time I reviewed it, I said, it doesn't hold up for me the same way, but I got a lot of mileage out of it. I got 840-something calories out of it, which was good at the time. I've actually started by doing walking and kind of speed walking a little bit, just go at your own pace. It wasn't until later that I was able to run to it. Now, I at the very least need to hit 4 miles within the first hour as my personal goal. And then whatever happens after that, because basically the treadmill resets.
Yeah.
It doesn't go up to a 2-hour limit or anything like that. So I'll stop it, take a cool down, and then restart it. And then if I don't hit 4 miles in an hour on the second run, it's totally fine. But I do manage to be able to, at the very least, add an incline or, try to, see if I can improve upon each time. So there's not really a set method to it, which I'm trying to figure out how to make it a little more consistent to that degree. I've tried doing it with bike, and it is tough because your ass starts to hurt. And I'll tell you, I tried to do it with Gidget. They showed Gidget at the. Have you ever heard of this? It's a surfing movie.
Yeah.
And now I had seen it once, and I was like, that's enough for me. And then I was like, well, I'll rewatch this. And I sat on my bike on the bike, and I was doing it, and I was just like, man, my butt hurts, and this movie is not as good as it was when I was a kid, and it was not that good when I was a kid. So, there are certain things. I think the ultimate challenge, if I were to ever, before I, hang it up for good, if ever, which I don't think I'd ever would, but it would be to do a Stairmaster to Lord of the Rings, because that would be probably the ultimate workout that coincides with the actual movements of the characters in the movie.
Yep.
I don't know, though. I I encourage people who have been reaching out, because you're not the only one to bring it up. I had people bringing it up. Go to Vaza. There is a membership for $20. That's what gets you into Fitness Cinema. And they run the movie all day, and then they switch to another movie the next day, and they have a whole lineup for each month. In March, they did Marvel month, so they showed a lot of MCU, a little bit of Ghost Rider, a little bit of X-Men Origins Wolverine, and a dash of Wonder Woman, even though that's not Marvel. Me having been on this show so long, when I saw that Wonder Woman was there, I was like, she's got Marvel. But then I was like, but it's Wonder Woman, so I'll have fun with it. But yeah, so I hope that answered your question. I think I
was just curious. And how often a week do you go?
Well, it's been a little rough the past couple of weeks, but I try to do it once a week. And if I don't do a Fitness Cinema, I need to try to do at least a 2-hour workout. So about 45 minutes of cardio, as much resistance as I can, and then wrap it up with the remainder in cardio. So
nice. Well, I just wanted to highlight, because you've been doing so well, and that you only have to do it once a week for 2 hours a week.
Yeah,
and you can achieve goals. So good job, buddy.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that. I will tell you, the funnest one to do, or funnest isn't a word, the most fun to do with Fitness Cinema was Top Gun.
Fuck yeah.
It was and
It's a soundtrack, right?
Yeah, that's it. Because like none of that was a good one, but also I found "Take My Breath Away" to be a great running song. Like it was the one I wasn't expecting, and the theme itself, the like when you open it up, like it gets you going. And Danger Zone, obviously.
You say I'm crazy.
And I will say, Who Framed Roger Rabbit was fun. But it's very hard to laugh on a treadmill. It's very hard to laugh on a treadmill because you're just like, you're trying to, you do rhythmic breathing or sometimes like in order to keep pace. And it's very hard to do that when a bunch of weasels are making funny jokes and then Roger Rabbit's saying all the things he's saying.
Love the weasels in that movie.
And then Bob Hoskins is like, running around going, Roger. And it's it makes you laugh too much. The one I wish they do, but they'll never do it because they don't do rated R movies and this sucks.
Makes sense.
I'd love for them to do Pulp Fiction because I think that would be a fun workout with the soundtrack.
Yeah.
But like, they're not going to do rated R and I totally get that.
Well, I mean, and that's a hard R.
That's a very hard R.
That's not, T2 or something.
I give people the option. I'm just like, if you're trying to do quote unquote fitness cinema, if you want to do fitness cinema after dark, just grab your tablet or your iPhone, start at the beginning of the movie and just do the same thing you do if it was playing on the big screen.
Yeah. Every Wednesday I do it. And I always, I do weight training and stuff for strength because I have to be strong in the job I do. Yeah. So, but I usually...
Oh, you do you?
Yeah. I do. I need to know if you ran a while. I usually,
Candy ass.
I usually watch an episode of Friends or The Office on my phone for the cardio part.
So do you just do a solid 20 minutes then, right?
Yeah, or maybe even less. I usually do sprinting. And then I stop and do weights. But,
okay. No, that's the smart thing. Like, fitness cinema, I think, is honestly just like, for me, it's if you are just needing to get a break for the day.
I don't, buddy.
Toys in the car. Riding in toys with cars.
If you don't want to play that, I'll put a show on for you to watch, buddy.
Riding in cars with toys.
Yes.
That was a Drew Barrymore movie. Oh, no, Riding in Cars with... Yeah, see, that's where I get it wrong. But no, I just do it kind of like, it does help with the weight loss, but it doesn't, it's not a necessary requirement thing.
What do you want to watch? Okay. Yeah, it's,
I think it's just also like, you got to have fun with it, but like, it is important to do resistance work, I've been finding too.
Yeah, I know, it's,
I mean, I wouldn't be able to do my job if it weren't for resistance training. Like, you're lifting furniture all the time. It's nuts. But yeah, thank you for asking about that. It means a lot to me.
Did you just say fuck into this?
He did. He is your son.
He is.
It's pretty amazing.
And don't you there? I'm the crafter.
You're the copter?
Yeah, all right.
I said, don't you there? I'm the crafter.
Don't shoot in there. I'm the... I don't know.
But yeah, so no, that's fitness cinema in a nutshell. I mean, it's like I say, like you really should try to start doing it with 90-minute films or like shorter films. Don't do what I did and do Inception too early because Inception was a long ass haul.
Yeah, it's more of just getting out and doing it. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to tie in. We watch movies, and that might be a good way if someone's looking for it to help them out.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you can do it at home too, like by all means. Like,
put an elliptical in front of your TV or something.
God, you know what? I found another one: Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2.
Be fun.
Army of Darkness as well. I guess any of the Raimi flicks. Well, Simple Plan, I probably wouldn't.
Probably
do
not.
That one needs to be a sit down. That's where you sit down and go.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
It doesn't have the Raimi trademark like balls to the wall stuff.
No, but it's got a Coen Brothers kind of.
It does. I agree.
I totally dig it. But yeah, no. So thank you.
Cool. So yeah, Corinne sent in a new Catching the Classics with Corinne, and here it is.
Hey nerds, Corinne here for part 21 of Catching the Classics, where I watch famous and popular movies I've never seen before and send in my review. Yeah, it's so weird to be back to normal Catching the Classics this time, after doing my 10-week Miyazaki spin-off series. But yeah, we're back at it again. And this week I'm going to be tackling Dr. Zhivago. Yeah, the one from 1965. I've never seen it. But wow. Yeah, it's, I liked it more than I thought I would. I know it's like 3 hours, 19 minutes, and yeah, some of that is, overture and intermission, and so it ends up probably being more about right at 3 hours, but it's still a pretty long movie, but it didn't feel as long as it was. There were some parts where it was kind of like, okay, can we speed this up here? But, yeah, overall, I really liked it. Granted, I guess I grew up watching Gone with the Wind, so I'm kind of used to this whole, 3-hour epic love story wrapped in this, war drama thing. So that was kind of up my alley. But yeah, it's kind of a bleak movie, but also, it's good. It's bleak. A lot of it is bleak when they talk about the war and the life that people lived and the conditions that they had to endure. And just, yeah, it kind of makes you feel sympathy for both sides, both the Reds and the Whites. It's the Reds, obviously, communism, not good. Well, authoritarianism, communism, not good. But, the ideal that the people were, they were living in these horrible conditions and they were starving and they wanted equality or at least, a better quality of life. You can't fault them for that. But on the other hand, the system that was instituted was not just either. So, yeah, it's a really heavy movie, but I think there's enough going on in it that it doesn't make it feel unwatchable for how dark it is. There's still a lot of humanity in the story of love and triumph and loss, but in a natural way, not in a war and grief sort of way. Anyway, the performances were all really good. I was really hoping Alec Guinness was going to be in it more, just because he was the only actor that I really knew, except for the guy who plays Komarovsky. I was like, I swear his voice is super familiar, and I think when I heard him, he just kind of sounds like Anthony Hopkins. He's not, obviously, but I was like, I feel like I know him from somewhere. And he plays Judd in Oklahoma, and I was like, oh, maybe that's it. But, I absolutely detest that character. Just the whole first, 45 minutes or an hour where he's, doing that whole nonsense with Laura, and I was like, ugh. I literally wanted to go, come through the screen and just, punch him in the face repeatedly. And I was kind of hoping he would get some sort of, narrative just desserts, and it's maybe kind of implied that he did, but not really. And, whatever. Sometimes in real life, the bad guys win, right? So, yeah, I liked Zhivago. I liked seeing all these characters and how complex they were and how they kind of kept interacting with each other over different periods of time. And so it was a good story. And as far as I understand, they kind of simplified it from the book, bringing some elements and not others, just to simplify it for the movie. But I guess I have a couple of qualms with it. And I know it's coming from the source material of the book, but I was really upset that Zhivago did not go with Lara and Komarovsky whenever they were at Yuliatan or whatever, that one town, when he comes to pick them up at the house, and they're living at the house, and he's writing his poems, and Komarovsky comes in, and he's like, Strelnikov's been shot. You guys have to come with me or otherwise Lara is going to be killed. And it's like, okay, so Zhivago pretends like he's going to go so that Lara and her daughter will go with Komarovsky, but then he doesn't go with Komarovsky. It's really stupid. It's like, why? I know you dislike the guy, but he's literally your best option for freedom right now. Why couldn't you go with him? He just goes back to Moscow and suffers and dies. You could have gone with Komarovsky and stayed with Lara and maybe made sure that, no more bullshit happened between those two. Oh my gosh. I was so pissed that Lara and Komarovsky it's implied that they ended up together to some degree, and I'm like, I know she didn't have a lot of options, and it was war, and all this stuff was going on, but please, like, why did she have to end up with that guy? Ugh. And the other thing was the poems. Like, they're mentioned at the beginning, but then they just kind of, like, the whole, like, he is a poet just kind of comes up randomly. Like, people keep saying he's a poet, but we don't ever see him write poetry up until the very end when he writes Lara. It's like, you know, it's the whole show don't tell thing. They don't do that. They tell you he's a poet over and over again, but we never see him write poetry. So I think if I would have been like, hey, can we show him writing more poems earlier in the story? And then when he writes Lara, it feels a little bit more earned. Because otherwise it just looks like he just started writing one day because he was bored. But, yeah. But the lighting in this movie is awesome. That scene where they're at the hospital and Lara's ironing and Zhivago is like trying to kind of make the moves on her, and he's like totally in shadow except for maybe like a little bit of his eyes, and she's completely lit, especially her eyes, and it's like, oh my gosh, the lighting in that scene was just, it was stunning. I just was mesmerized by that scene. And the set decoration and set design on this is just insane. All the places, all the locations that they would have had to shoot at, all the stuff that they would have had to have gotten. And when he comes back from the war and he sees his like family's house, except it's like all like the wallpaper's gone, all the paint and everything, it just looks so just decrepit now. And it's like, you can tell it's the same, it looks like the same set, but they just completely stripped everything away. And it's really jarring to see, like, oh, I even, like, had to do a double take. I was like, isn't that their house? Wait, but, oh, they took everything down because it's the war. So, yeah, it's a really well put together movie. And, like I said, I'm kind of used to this whole, like, epic war love story thing, so it didn't bother me so much. I think other people could get bored with it, but I thought it was engaging enough, and obviously it's based on a true story or true event, so yeah, well, I mean, loosely based on it. It's kind of historical fiction sort of thing, but yeah, so I would recommend it if you've never seen it. You take the chance to go check it out. Dr. Zhivago, 1965. I'll give it 4 out of 5 stars. I think that's pretty fair. So, not sure what I'm going to tackle next week, but I will talk to you guys about whatever it is next time. Bye.
I'm actually surprised that she gave Dr. Zhivago 4 out of 5.
I've never seen it before. Do you like it?
Yeah. I don't own it. It's one of those movies that where I really like Lawrence of Arabia, and some people don't because it's too long.
Yeah.
Dr. Zhivago isn't as long, but it's kind of in the same epic movie style.
Yeah, the grandeur and the spectacle and the scale of it all.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's good. I'll have to check it out. She made me want to watch it.
Yeah.
I said this last week, and I know this will annoy you, but I do want to see if she's never seen Citizen Kane, I want to know what she thinks of Citizen Kane. It's not because I'm saying like that movie's the end all be all, although I do think it's increasingly relevant today. But she's a journalist, so I would like to know her opinion about how that's tackled in that era.
Yeah.
Actually, tack on to that, if she hasn't seen His Girl Friday.
She has. I don't think she likes it, if I remember right. She'll have to write in. I think she mentioned that she doesn't like it.
Oh, well, if you don't like Cary Grant movie, what are we? What? Oh yeah, that little meme, that GIF that you.
I always send where he tells him to get out.
Yeah, anytime Brian disagrees with me or anybody else, like he'll
get a Cary Grant.
Yeah, he'll get a Cary Grant going, get out. But yeah, no. Cool. Yeah, thank you, Corinne, for sending that in.
As always, Corinne. I love that she's tackling this though. She because no one can convince me to see some like romantic comedies, but I was thinking about it. That might be my least favorite genre of film. Is romantic comedies.
I
But
loved it for so long, though.
But here's the thing: is I like the screwball romantic comedies from like the 40s.
Yeah.
So, I really like Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail. I don't know.
I'll tell you. Well, did I ever tell you the story about
Maybe I just
how
like Tom Hanks.
Yeah, well, he's amazing. Like did you see that Mr. Rogers trailer?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my god. The movie that killed rom-coms for me and why it took so long for me to get back into them was, for some reason, I decided when I was working at the movie theater, I had to get free tickets, and I was like, I went to see everything, and I was just like, I'll go watch Life as We Know It with Katherine Heigl and Josh Duhamel, and it's where they go to raise a baby because the parents die, and somehow in the will they've been forced by the law to raise this baby together, but they hate each other. And I walked out of that movie angrier than I'd been at anything ever in my life. I called Andrew Bueno up, and he was, because I was supposed to follow up with him, and he's like, hey, are you going to come and hang out? And I was like, yeah, but let me tell you about this dog shit I just saw, and I ranted for 30 minutes on the way over to his house.
You can pay me to see that movie.
Dude, like, just believe me when I say this, like, that movie... It's not the worst cinematic like piece I've ever seen in my life, but for some reason it just petted me the wrong way.
Yeah, right.
I really need to give Katherine Heigl a renaissance in my head because I feel like I shit on her way too much.
Well, she did it to herself. It was a couple years ago. There's a whole report on the article on the Hollywood Reporter about how she's horrible to work with. Her mom is a horrible agent for her. It was a really long piece, and it was people just saying that she's basically self-destructed her own career.
Yeah, like I said, though, I want to be fair and be like, you know what, like,
no.
Turnabout's fair play. You haven't seen everything she's done.
That's true.
And I love Knocked Up enough that I'd be like, yeah, I'll give her another shot. Why not? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? But anyway, yeah, cool. You know what? I think I'm going to hijack a segment.
Okay.
The way Statham and The Rock hijack cars.
I'm working with this guy.
No way I'm going to work with Frost. Why are we both Statham? Can I be Crank Statham? You be, which one would you want to be? Death Race Statham?
No, I'll do, that's a good question.
I guess
I love Jason Statham.
Yeah.
I'll be the Meg Jason Statham.
Some megalodon. Oh my god, it's a Zachosaurus. But anyway, I'm going to hijack a segment, and we're going to go around town with Zach this time. Well, Zach doesn't have a car, so he can't go to the drive-in, so we won't know the drive-in schedule. No, the driver's not going to sit with me in there. But I can tell you that the Esquire at midnight on August 9th and 10th will be showing The Dark Crystal. Do you like The Dark Crystal?
That's all right.
It's creative and inventive.
The puppets are amazing.
Yeah.
The cinematography is great.
Yeah.
The rest of the movie is meh.
I can't get into the mythology like others do, but I will rewatch it. Like, it's not something I don't not rewatch.
The special effects and the puppets would make it worth the watch.
Exactly. It's kind of how I feel about Labyrinth. I know people love Labyrinth.
My wife loves Labyrinth, and I go, meh.
And far be it from me to like tell anybody like you can't like that movie.
Oh no!
But
my favorite movie of all time is Army of Darkness. I can't tell anybody anything.
Yeah, my favorite of all time is Jackie Brown, but it is the best movie ever made. So
I mean, it's not better than Army of Darkness, but I'll give you it's a good movie.
You know what? If Robert Forster and Bruce Campbell fought each other, God, I need to make a movie now. But yeah, so you can see The Dark Crystal, and also keep in mind Friday, September 20th, you can see The Room at midnight with a certain Tommy Wiseau in person. Mm-hmm. Maybe he'll sell you his underwear. I don't know. But if he does and I'm there, I'm going to buy it.
All right.
Because I want weird shit on my wall for people to admire when they come to visit. By which I mean, no, I'm not going to fucking do that. But yeah, you can go Friday, September 20th, see The Room. And see The Room. It's a fun time. I can't say it's a fun movie. It's a fun time. Ryan, you still haven't seen The Room.
Nope.
Oh, well, maybe someday. You do like The Disaster Artist, though. So
I do. I love The Disaster Artist.
I think the problem is that to do The Room, you do have to do it with an audience. It's not fair to watch it in your house alone. Like, it just doesn't work. I guess unless you did the Riff Tracks commentary attached to it, then that might work. But anyway, yeah, that's Zach around town. I don't get a theme song. I haven't earned it yet.
That's a say for very special moped riders.
Speaking of the man who isn't here, though, Brad's currently hard at work shooting his 48-hour film project, which I have an exclusive piece of news. I just learned the title. It's called Solve for X.
Nice.
That's the name of the film. So there's an inside scoop for you guys here.
It'd be interesting. I heard he got thriller/silent film. So it's up to Brad and his storytelling ability through the camera.
It figures he'd get a genre that I'd be great at when I can't help him out.
Yep.
So
what happens.
I mean, we can't make Twombly 3, guys, this weekend. Not this weekend.
Well, you'd have to make a Twombly prequel because it'd have to take place before Twombly.
Yeah. I would.
Silent film era.
I'd call it Schlepperman. I don't know, like Kitzel, something like that. I have to find names.
I gotta find a job in a big city. See, I gotta get up there. That's nothing like Twombly, but you know.
You know what it'll just be? It'll just be me turning footage from the Hudsucker proxy into black and white and adding microphones to it.
Love it.
And strictly speaking, I ain't allowed to do that. But yeah, anyway, that's Zach Around Town.
Sweet. This is movie news.
It's real news.
Dateline Hollywood.
I'm going to start with some video game news because I don't know much about video games. You know a lot about video games. Everybody knows about video games but me. But they're making a Blair Witch video game, and there was a gameplay trailer for it, and you can interact with a dog.
Cool.
In other news, why should I play video games, Ryan?
You should play stuff like Mortal Kombat and Resident Evil.
Are you sure? Because this article is telling me that I shouldn't care. No, but yeah, I think that if you were to try to capitalize on Blair Witch, this is a decent step. I'd like to see if any of us play the game and what they think of it, but it doesn't sound as fun as, say, a Friday the 13th game, which I want to play.
Shit, it's fun.
Speaking of that news, though, apparently Tom McLaughlin has written a Friday the 13th.
I love the title, Jason Never Dies.
Jason Never Dies. And he said the whole cast would be female except for Jason. I'm like, oh, that could be fun.
Yeah, it takes place in the winter. There's a great article. I think it's on Bloody Disgusting.
Yeah, but he's saying like the lawsuit's not going to stop him.
Yeah.
So I like the premise.
Yeah.
I like Tom McLaughlin.
Well, because remember the lawsuit too is for Friday the 13th. The problem with the Jason character is they're trying to figure out if the adult Jason is a product of Friday the 13th, the first film. So
well, and you know what? By the time they figure it out, everyone will be dead, and then you and I can buy the rights.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be like, hey, it doesn't matter because we're in charge now.
Yeah, you know, that's if I ever won Powerball, I always told that to my wife. I said, if I win Powerball, the first thing I'm going to do is offer like $70 million for the rights for the Jason character.
And she says, not fix the house, asshole. And he's like, nope, Jason
I said,
first.
No, I'll buy you a new house.
And then Jason.
Well, it's Powerball, so I'm guessing like $500 million.
I'm going to say, though, based on his pitch and the recent trend of horror films taking more chances, especially slasher films too. Like it's kind of a stretch to bring Jamie Lee Curtis back a third time for anything, let alone 2 more sequels that we'll get back to back. But which I'm excited for. I think that this one could easily become the next one because it's from somebody who knows the franchise. There's a built-in reputation behind it, so I think it would be easier to sell than say whoever like newer director they were going to get on board. Yeah. Not to say I wouldn't want to see somebody's new vision behind it, but if
I'll see it. If you put Jason in a movie, I'll go see it.
Yeah, if you put him anywhere, I'll watch it. Like I mean, I'll watch another Freddy movie, even though the last time they did that kind of burned me. So
yeah, literally.
But anyway, on to regular news though. We got a trailer for The Lighthouse from director Robert Eggers. This movie stars Robert Pattinson as a light guard watchman, and Willem Dafoe as a light guard watchman who's also a salty sea dog. This movie looks like it was made just for me, like most movies this year have been recently.
Yeah, looks good.
I like The Witch a lot. I haven't rewatched it though in a while.
It was in my 2016 Film Explosion, number 10, I think.
I was actually shocked that it made your list, and then I think I watched it. The second time I watched it was after you said it was on your list, and I'm like, this is a good movie. I do fucking like this movie. It's interesting. I thought he was supposed to do...
It's like what The Village wanted to be.
Yeah. You know what's funny, though? I want to rewatch some of the earlier Shyamalans and see if I still feel the same way I felt about them, like say 5 years ago. Because Unbreakable exception, because that's always going to be great in my eyes.
The thing that makes me mad with Shyamalan is every time he builds my trust, he ruins it.
See our review of Glass from earlier this year.
So I like to think that it goes Unbreakable, because I think Split's entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
So I go Unbreakable, Split. Another one doesn't exist.
I remember liking Signs up until the last 10 minutes.
You can listen to a commentary James and I did for Signs.
Ooh, yeah. I actually, wait. No, I've only heard the commentary on Friday the 13th with you guys. I have not heard.
There is one for Signs. It's an old Real Nerds podcast.
I'll have to look that up.
Yep.
Sync it up on my 4K TV.
Do it.
We also got another trailer for something that I'll love and James will hate, called The Irishman, by Martin Scorsese, starring Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe How My Funny Pesci. The de-aging looks pretty good so far.
Yeah.
I will say, though, like, if it looks this good now, I can imagine it's going to look even better when the final product comes out, because they're probably still working on it.
Something is bizarre. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, but, Scorsese making another movie,
No, that's fine.
You go wherever you can go.
I mean,
Did you hear what happened with The Wolf of Wall Street and the financers behind it and whatnot? Yeah. I think he's fine just dealing with the disposable income of Netflix.
Oh, yeah. No, I think he's made great movies. So he can do whatever he wants.
Exactly.
I think it's just bizarre that it's on Netflix, but something tells me it might be one of those movies they're going to put in the theater so it can be up for awards.
It says it will be in select theaters, so hopefully one will be in Denver and one will be accessible enough, not to the point where I get stuck in the snow twice trying to see it, because I wanted Ballad of Buster Scruggs to be on a Blu-ray as well. Fucking Netflix.
I think that it might. The movies like that I think might actually show up on, because they just put out BoJack Horseman on Blu-ray, the first 2 seasons.
I'm hoping. But I'm also not going to hold my breath. I'd love Roma to do that too, because Roma looks beautiful, and I'd love a 4K disc, because my folks and I don't do the 4K version of Netflix.
No, it's worthless because you can't stream in 4K.
Exactly. So it looks fine in 1080p, but that movie looked really good on a big screen, Ryan. I know you won't watch it because it's foreign.
Maybe one day.
It's Alfonso Cuarón, though, so you might watch it.
I watch every once in a while a foreign film.
Yeah, I know you do, but I just wonder if you'll get bored with this one. It's
probably.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Not enough,
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Well, one day when I'm really bored
on your deathbed,
let me get through my Cary Grants, my Family Guy, and my Scream Factory, and I'll look at Roma.
But wait, I've got to review more Tom Cruise movies. Oh, damn it, Zach! Yeah. I'll be delayed a little bit. Hey, remember when Ben Affleck was Batman?
Mm-hmm.
And he was going to make a Batman movie, and then other people failed him. Well, anyway, the creators of the other films. Anyway, he was going to do a Batman movie, and apparently it would have been a dark journey into Arkham Asylum, which I'm kind of wondering why this is somehow news, because I remember that being a description of his film as early on.
I think it's because the storyboard artist for it started putting out stuff and talked about it on some podcast, because his storyboard artist, he's in a new movie or something. No, I think it's a shame.
Cinematographer Robert Richardson.
Cinematographer, there we go. I think it's a bummer that he never got to do a solo Batman movie.
Yep.
Because he's a really good Batman, and I like the idea of a grizzled, old, salty Batman.
Willem Dafoe as Batman.
And I think it'd be interesting for him to go through Arkham Asylum and relive either failings or successes through the eyes of the people that he put in there. I think it'd been a really interesting film.
Yeah. I think I've realized why I don't go back to BVS that much. It's it leans so heavy on Frank Miller a lot, and I'm just I like Frank Miller, but I like him in small doses.
I think he's garbage, but
yeah.
I'm one of the few comic book people that I'm not a fan of Frank Miller.
Here's the thing: I don't like his politics, but I love his storytelling style. So it's but at the same time, there are books of his I don't like. I don't like 300. I love that movie, but I don't like that book. Which figure that one out.
And
that's
everyone loves Dark Knight Returns, and I think it's okay.
Yeah, what would be great is if they adapted that and they had somehow gotten Clint Eastwood when he was still 50 or 60. Yeah. That would have been a great Batman movie. James Wan's going to return to horror for his next film. So
Awesome
that'll be
director.
his film before Aquaman 2, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he made so much money with Aquaman, he's going to pick any movie he wants to do.
I say he do Furious 9 and somehow team it up with the Saw franchise. And we'll get to that later. Hey, so no one told you that life was going to be this way. Your job's a joke, you're broke, your love life's DOA. Well, if all that's happening to you, you can go to New York for a pop-up experience with friends.
Yay!
That'll be coming this fall. It's going to be a recreation of Central Perk and the iconic couch, as well as other sets and props from the NBC sitcom. So,
Nice.
yeah, you can do that and reminisce before everything leaves Netflix and goes to NBC streaming service.
I'm not going to watch it. I have this complete series, so I'm good.
Oh, that's right. You bought dirty physical formats like a
Yep.
dirty boy. Yeah.
But yes, I am always down for Friends.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be there for you when the rain starts to pour. They'll be there for you.
You already did that joke.
Like I've been there before. Let's see here. I think the Venom movie is trolling me. Ever on into the distance. Because I guess Andy Serkis is gonna direct Venom too.
Yeah.
In other news, Ryan, I don't want to live anymore.
It's all right. Venom's okay. It wasn't the train wreck I was expecting it to be. So
Gosh, how is it that I'm the one who was like the most harsh on it? I don't know. Like, I'm not even the Spider-Man guy.
yeah, I mean, it needs Spider-Man, but
Yeah, I mean, like, I will say Tom Hardy is fun to watch in it. But yeah, no, I mean, I will say this though, Andy Serkis being behind it, I will give it a shot.
yeah, it's fun.
You know, like there are worse things in the world, much worse things. We got 2 more pieces of news. Have you ever seen the miniseries for The Stand that Mick Garris did? Did you like it at all?
It was all right.
Okay, I like it a lot. It's a thing that picked me up when I was low a few years back. They're redoing it for CBS All Access, and they have confirmed that Stephen King wrote a new ending for it.
That's good.
So that'll be interesting to see how they kind of handle the ending of that. I love The Stand. I've never read the book, but
It's all right.
that miniseries that Garris did, it's not like it's just there's something about it, like there's just like such a heart behind it that I
Yeah.
totally dig it. And they're bringing that to Blu-ray.
It's a
by the
different
way.
kind of Stephen King.
Yeah, and it's sprawling. Like it's
Yeah.
it's a different type of, not even like it's sprawling. Like it's
Yeah.
like super expansive. And they're bringing that miniseries to Blu-ray, so I am excited because it'll.
Yeah, I just saw that.
I'm amazed to see how good it can look. Actually, I've got 2 more pieces of news. Sexy Chris Pine's going to play sexy Walter Cronkite in a movie about the news flash when Walter Cronkite was reporting on JFK's assassination. I like this idea.
I do too.
Because when I first saw Chris Pine and Walter Cronkite next to each other, I was like, what? No. And then I looked at a photo. I'm like, oh, God, it will work.
Remember, it's young Cronkite.
Yeah, all I had to do was kind of just put a comb underneath Chris Pine, and I was just like, oh, my God, it can totally work. And especially since, like, with the anniversary of the moon landing and whatnot, we're seeing footage of Cronkite all over the place. I'm just like, that could totally work, But yeah, I'll be interested to see how that ties into the Good Night and Good Luck cinematic universe, where all the newscasters have to team up and stop something.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then the last piece of news I thought was just for you, and I guess me to an extent. The original Spider-Man teaser featured a shot with the Twin Towers. It was pulled because 9/11.
Yeah.
But now it has been restored in HD, and you can now watch it online. I thought it looked beautiful.
It comes from a time when they used to shoot mini movies for trailers that had nothing to do with the film.
Yep.
And it's ridiculous because it and really over the top, really comic booky.
Yeah.
But it's redeemed at the end when they show Spidey swinging through the city.
Yeah.
Okay. But the trailer when the bank heist is happening has a lot of trademark Raimi shots in it.
Yeah.
So it's really fun to see. And I'm always in the boat of I don't think that you should ignore that the Twin Towers are there, and it's okay that you have stuff with them in it.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting how Spider-Man. Well, I guess it doesn't surprise me because Spider-Man is a more family-friendly-ish property.
Yeah.
That they would do that, but like Gangs in New York actually ended up like winning that battle by keeping the Twin Towers in at the end of the. If you've never seen the movie, at the end they show a passage of time throughout New York where old things decay and new things rise, and the last shot shows the towers still there before it fades out. And that was apparently a controversy in and of itself.
Yeah, because I mean, if you watch, because we talked about Friends, the establishing shot always has the Twin Towers in it, and or if you watch Seinfeld, you know, you can't. It's a horrible tragedy, but you can't ever escape it.
Yeah.
So, you should still be able to celebrate them.
Yeah.
Because they shouldn't always. It's tough. It's a really fun. I get it.
Yeah.
It's hard because it's, you know,
it was a fresh thing, but it doesn't mean that you.
I always put it in this way. You know, we did a film explosion where I put 102 Minutes That Changed America in it.
Yeah.
That's about 9/11, and there's a thing on the History Channel where they kind of have commentary with it, and this lady says every time I see the second plane hit the towers, because there's, you know, lots of footage of it because of people recovering the first plane. She says it's watching my son die over and over again, and I get that, and so it's a tough line to draw. But the Spider-Man thing, because Spider-Man is New York and he represents who New York is, I understand why they took it out, but also it's a cool shot.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I think
I oscillate between the two.
Yeah, I think it's always a case by case basis when it comes to those particular situations.
Because you have that, but you have King Kong, 74 or 76, I forget which one it is, where he's the poster is literally him standing on top of the two towers.
Yeah,
and, you know, hitting planes into them. So
I'd have to imagine if that was an issue, then just any re-release of De Laurentiis' King Kong would just be like a picture.
I mean, even Escape from New York. I mean, Escape from New York uses the Twin Towers a lot.
Oh yeah,
and that's supposed to take place in the future. So it's, you know what I mean? It's
yeah. Hey, you can't get everything right.
You can't, you know, and you can't. I don't know.
It's a case by case.
It is.
We don't need to dwell on it.
We don't need to dwell on it. It always makes me think. But the Spider-Man thing is really cool.
Yeah. That's news. Unless you are worried about how Fast and Furious male stars are worried about their egos.
Nope.
That article, I know why it frustrates me, because I'm like, yeah, it's image maintenance, and unfortunately, it's there. Anyway, we'll talk about it more in Hobbs and Shaw review, maybe.
Movies come out on Blu-ray, and sometimes we get them. Here's what's coming out on Blu-ray this week.
DVD releases and Blu-rays. All you Batman fans out there can get Batman Hush in 4K and Blu-ray.
I probably will get that.
I would love to get this one, actually.
Have you read this miniseries, or I guess the comic book?
No, I have not read Hush.
Pretty great.
I do know of its popularity, though, but the style looks awesome. The style looks incredible. That's why I want to watch it. I'm a bad Batman fan because I have not read all the major arcs and whatnot, but you know, I appreciate the arcs that I do like. Like I like the long Halloween.
Oh yeah, that'd
I
be
think
an awesome animated movie.
Long Halloween is awesome, and I also like rereading some of the older like 38 ones because they're just like fun and kind of like adventurous.
I like Batman, and I get his comic every month. But I'm more of a Batgirl fan, and I like Harley Quinn a lot. I liked Harley Quinn before it was really cool to like Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And so now I see all these fake Harley Quinn fans, and I get really irritated.
Yeah.
But whatever. It brings people into comic books. That's fine.
Yeah. You do what you do.
Yeah.
I got into Batman mainly through cinema, and then I got to comics. So.
But.
And even then, I still don't.
I got through Batman through the animated series, so I really like. This sounds really funny. I really like. They made a comic book called The Batman Adventures, based on those, not the episodes, but based in that universe.
Yeah, and
they're all usually one shots, meaning just one comic book long.
Yeah,
and the art in them was really cool, so I really love those stories. There's some main Batman title stories. I love Hush. They just did Death of the Family, and it was amazing because it was Batman and Joker fighting to the end, and the ending is really awesome because it's the Joker. It's a story where the Joker is not really killing people, but it's the death of the Bat family because of what he does to them. Yeah, and it's really fascinating.
Yeah, I like that one. I like. I liked Killing Joke until it became way too popular. Now I'm just like, I get it. Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good book.
As a Batgirl fan, I have a problem with it.
Yes, I know.
But
I
it's an interesting study into the psychological battle between Batman and Joker.
Todd Phillips says that it's not based on any previous material, but I wouldn't be surprised if his Joker movie reminds me a lot of Killing Joke.
Yeah.
Which would be fine-ish, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, moving on from Batman, we'll move on to an adorable little yellow rat called Pikachu. An electric rat, sorry. You can pick up Detective Pikachu in 4K and Blu-ray and an interesting-looking steelbook there.
Disappointed?
Disappointed? You didn't like the movie?
No.
Oh, that's right.
Way too kiddie.
Yeah, but I mean, I had fun with it as much as you could. Being like, I grew out of Pokemon really quick, and then like it blew back up in my face in 2016 with that app. So, but anyway, also the Conjuring universe got even bigger this year with the Curse of La Llorona, and you can pick up that on Blu-ray. I don't see a 4K of it.
Conjuring isn't on 4K. It's really weird. I wonder if it has to do with because they don't shoot them for a lot of money. And the 4K might hurt the
quality.
The quality. I don't know.
Or maybe they're waiting for Conjuring 3, and then they'll give us a big ass box set.
Oh, maybe.
You never know. From Kino Lorber, you can pick up The Front Page with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau from 1974, which is a further adaptation of the original The Front Page that then inspired His Girl Friday, which we discussed earlier. I've never seen the Matthau Lemmon version.
I saw it years ago. Don't remember it.
Yeah, I like them in The Odd Couple. So,
Yeah.
And I like them in Grumpy Old Men.
I love them in Some Like It Hot.
And Something Like It Hot's good too. Matthau and Lemon, two wonderful guys. You can also get from Kino Lorber A Foreign Affair with Jean Arthur, Marlene Dietrich, and John Lund. You actually got a Marlene Dietrich box set not too long ago. So you'll be kind of telling us what you think of Mama Dietrich and her and her exploits.
I'll watch Blonde Venus first, and then I'll go.
Yeah,
to the other ones.
she had a very interesting life. You know, between her and Rita Hayworth, like those are like two unsung like heroes of the war. Like,
yeah, and I really got to. So when Criterions go on sale, I usually get a couple that I wouldn't have normally got, and I got Gilda. So I should probably watch that one.
Yeah, Gilda's
because I got it last year.
It's iconic. That's the film they're showing in Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah. No, I mean everybody. Most people, if you like movies, know Gilda.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Interested to see it.
Yeah. What We Left Behind, looking back at Deep Space Nine, is coming out from Shout Factory, but I've heard it's limited edition on their site, so you might want to go get that ASAP, guys. The Tolkien biopic that I did not see, but do want to see because I like Nicholas Hoult, is out on Blu-ray. You can pick that up. And then, oh, yes, my favorite announcement of the week. Remember in 1998's Film Explosion when I, pissed everyone off with my number one not being Saving Private Ryan? Because my number one was Gods and Monsters, and they're finally putting it out on Blu-ray. That's a movie with Ian McKellen playing James Whale, and talks about his final years and how he falls in love with a gardener played by Brendan Fraser. It's not a true story, but it's a fun story until it turns really dark at the end. And then the last one is Charlie Says, which was a Manson film from last year. Yep. I didn't see it. I'm not like outside of the movie we talked about last week. I'm not really into watching movies about Manson. So.
Yep.
And anyway, that's Blu-rays.
We also watch movies throughout the week in a segment I call Zach and I Watch Fun Time Motion Pictures.
So, this is the stuff we've been watching.
What'd you watch this week, Zach?
Lots of motion pictures and disco dancing. Fun time for all. He big man whip us. We are slaves. I watched enough this week to talk about some stuff. I finally watched Silence of the Lambs on the Criterion version.
It's an awesome release.
It is a beautiful restoration. Yeah. It looks fantastic.
You know, I forgot how much a master of the up close Jonathan Demme is.
Yeah, no, he's really good at it.
Really good.
I love.
It's not annoying. He does it really well.
Yeah, one of my favorite shots in the movie. It's not it's a close up, but it's a moving close up when she's about to enter the block of cells that lead to Lecter, and it just revolves around the security area, and then it hits on Barney. It goes on Barney. I love that shot. Yep. And then and also that's the that's an Academy Award winning movie for Best Picture with Roger Corman in a top billed role.
Yep.
Who thought that would happen?
And
the
a
answer
slasher
is
film that is Best Picture winner.
exactly. Well, yeah, that's the more important part. But Roger Corman, like, who?
He's very important to cinema.
He is. He is wonderful, and apparently he follows our Instagram now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That was great, and the special features are awesome. I haven't dug into the deleted scenes yet.
Interesting.
It's almost kind of like I don't want to because I'm just like they did just fine the first time.
They really
around.
don't add anything to it. It's just I always like deleted scenes. I like to see if I would have kept them too, and most of the time I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
But it's good.
It's actually one of those. This is a movie that I love rewatching, but then it always compels me to say like, I should watch Hannibal and Red Dragon again, and I'm just like, yeah, but that Hannibal TV show, like, there's too many options with Hannibal for me, so I just kind of like sticking in this realm.
Ridley Scott's a great director.
He is.
Hannibal's directed really well.
It is. It's just there's.
Yep.
I think I love Julianne Moore, but I don't like her in that movie.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, you'd have to rewatch it. Ray Liotta gets his brains eaten, and it is
true.
awesome.
I do remember that.
And then I rewatched Jordan Peele's Us, a.k.a. my favorite movie of the year so far, still this year. That movie looked great on 4K on my TV.
I know, I've been so busy. I've worked so many shifts this week or this month that's still sitting in like wrap and the wrapper.
So you haven't watched it then since theaters?
Yeah.
I'll say that knowing the twist, I was still able to enjoy it, and I think it was because I'd seen it twice in theaters. I didn't get to see it any further, unfortunately. But when I watched it the other night, I started watching it from the perspective of knowing the twist, and it worked really well.
I already knew the twist, even though I didn't know the twist when I saw the film. I don't think it was that shocking.
I don't think it's the most shocking part of the movie.
No, I mean, I was not. But the movie's really good.
Yeah, I think I think it's the way those actors are playing off of their moments is what sells it. And I still think that final shot with like the overhead helicopter shot of all those people forming the hands across America. It's one of the most chilling, like, hey, we're fucked moments ever. But yeah, no, it looks great. I'd check it out. I saw a movie called Coyote Lake, which is from the same company that put out Nightmare Cinema. And normally I don't go for them, but I like the premise. It has Adriana Barzara from Drag Me to Hell. She played the gypsy gal.
Yeah.
She in this movie, she and her daughter, played by the gal from Camilla Mendez, the gal who plays Veronica on Riverdale. She and her daughter live in a little house near a lake that's near the Mexican U.S. border, and what they do is they kill. What they do is they lure people into their house who are coyotes who basically they run people across the border but then steal all their belongings and leave them stranded. So they lure them into the house, then drug them, rob them back, and then dump them in the lake, which is called Coyote Lake. And the film's mainly about how Camilla Mendez's character is trying to escape the clutches of her mother and her vengeful mission against the cartels, because they're all somehow connected. It's a filmmaking debut by a director. I thought it was really good. It doesn't always work for me, but I liked the approach that they took with it, and it's got beautiful cinematography. So I think it'd be worth watching for kind of the premise and the photography alone. And there's fun performances in it. I think the middle is a little wavery, but it's one of those few times where I put out a VOD film and I'm like, that was fun. Like that was definitely worth my rental money. So yeah, you can check that out. And then the last thing I saw was I saw Late Night with Emma Thompson and Mindy Kaling. That movie's great. You should watch Late Night. That is a wonderful film. The last thing, though, I saw was I decided to remind myself humbly of what the franchise we are about to cover later on used to be by watching the original Fast and Furious on Netflix. That movie is...
It's all right.
It's an incredible saga of trying to solve the mystery of who's stealing shipments of DVD players. And VHS DVD combo players in a TV. And it's goofy. Yeah. It's goofy. You know, it's funny, like, everybody's like, yeah, it used to be about cars, and then it turned into a bunch of like super spy stuff. I'm like, no, they've got grappling hooks in that first one to rob the trucks. There's vigilante truckers, and I watched part of Too Fast, Too Furious, which I still haven't watched all the way through yet. And they've got guns that stun the cars into submission and pausing. So I'm like, no, this series has been goofy since day one.
Yeah.
They've got shots that go into the engine of a car.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I will say though, this time I was watching it, I was like, I like Vin Diesel this time around for some reason. I don't know what it was. He's fine.
Yep.
Paul Walker's more fun, but Vin Diesel's fine. And Ted Levine. I had a Ted Levine double feature this week. He's not as fun in Fast and Furious, and nor does he tuck his penis back. But you pick and choose your battles.
Yeah.
Also, I have to say, it's those four main build people at the in the first Fast and Furious, and then other than Ja Rule in the cast list, it's a sea of no one I've remembered in years to come. Like it goes. Jordana Brewster's the last notable one, and then nobody. Ja Rule, nobody. It kind of threw me for a loop. Like, oh, that's right, he's the guy who, if he wins, he'll get to have a three-way, but then he loses, and then even the one girl doesn't want him anymore. I'm like, racing. Also, by the way, that big competition in the middle of the desert is called Race Wars. That's wrong. Anyway, that's all I want. Yeah, they call it Race Wars, Ryan. Do we need to have a talk with the Fast and Furious franchise how many years ago?
18 years, can you believe that?
Oh, God. Get going strong, I guess. But that's all I watched this week.
I didn't watch too much, even though I missed last week. I've been watching the movies on CNN, and I've watched 2 episodes. I've watched the 80s Part 1 and the 90s Part 2.
Were you just doing them out of order, or just kind of?
That's how they're on demand. I don't know why they're on demand that way.
Weird. You're getting incomplete stories.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really just because there's so many movies.
You're doing the movies one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't done that yet.
It's fun, and it makes me want to watch a lot of movies. You talked about Roger Rabbit earlier, and Tom Hanks thought that Bob Hoskins in Roger Rabbit is one of the greatest performances ever.
I actually agree with that wholeheartedly.
Listening to Tom Hanks talk about movies makes me like movies more because he's really good in it.
Should he come on our podcast?
Oh, yeah, he should.
Tom Hanks, come on our podcast, please.
But it's really cool. They talk about, Tom Cruise. It's a really good documentary series.
That's good. I'm glad they do that, because I was like, every time they did those decades things, I'm just like, they're ignoring cinema. What the fuck?
Probably because I think it feels like they always had a plan to do like a movies one, and I'm guessing getting the releases and the footage probably took a lot longer.
Well, they had their spokesperson, George Lucas, come in and go, we just didn't have the technology to do the movie series yet.
So you should check it out. I think this week is the 60s.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I watched 2 Cary Grant films. I watched Born to Be Bad, and you sent me that thing about Cary Grant, and I didn't even realize until I watched it that Tony Curtis is totally doing a Cary Grant in Some Like It Hot, and it's a pretty spot-on impression.
I get the feeling that Tony Curtis is hard to pin down as an actor, because he'll do one thing one way and then do something completely different the next time.
But yeah,
it is a Cary Grant impression.
Yeah,
I'd have to watch that movie again.
Yeah,
Fuck.
So Born to Be Bad, Cary Grant is some rich guy who accidentally runs over this kid named Mickey, and yeah,
you run me over, you asshole.
But the kid, Loretta Young, plays his mom, and she was pregnant at 15, so she's 24 in the movie, or 25, and her kid's 10, and so she teaches him how to steal, and she has this is salacious. She has a new lover every day that she goes to the bar, and she gets a new dress, and so basically she's using men for money. But yeah, so Cary Grant's this rich guy. He has this really nice house, and they go to a court, and the Mickey kid gets on the stand and saying how he can't play with his kids, and there's footage of him jumping around, so they're lying, trying to get money out of Cary Grant. And so they deem the mom unfit, and the estate takes the kid, and then Cary Grant offers to adopt the child. And sure, Mickey, your mom can come see you anytime. And then, of course, he falls in love and has an affair with Loretta Young's character.
Yeah.
And, Yeah, and then it's
I like that Cary Grant stood up to the patriarchy of the time and just like took down.
Well, he also cheated on his wife and left his wife for that lady, so he's not really a great character in it.
Oh, okay, so there's problems all over across the board. Oh shoot.
Maybe it's an okay movie. It's not one of my favorites of his. He's not really in it very much.
Yeah.
He's good in it, but
it's more of a Loretta Young vehicle. Right on.
And you can definitely tell it's pre-code because of all the. Yeah. She also has cleavage in it, so
stop the presses.
Yes. And the other one I watched is Ladies Should Listen, and it's a cute movie. Again, it's not one of his best ones, but in it he plays, of course, another rich guy, and he's in love with.
I can't remember. Has he played a poor person yet?
Yeah, and None But the Lonely Hearts he does.
That's right.
A couple times he's pretty good at that stuff, but he usually plays
the dapper
dude because that's who he is.
Yeah. For more info on this, listen to the first Family Silhouette.
I did. We're pretty good in that. But
Hello.
In it, Cary Grant is this rich guy who's trying to get this lady in the same apartment building to date him, but he also has these like crazy inventions. But the switchboard operator is this really cute girl who listens to everything he does because back then, the operators are listening to your phone calls. So that's where the title.
Wait, you're saying nobody's listening to my phone calls today?
I don't know. That's where the Lady Should Listen comes from. And in it, he fakes his suicide. And so the receptionist or operator never puts him through, and she just comes running up and is concerned about him. And it's a cute movie. It's pretty funny and lightweight. Again, it's not one of his best ones.
Right.
But
you've already sold me on the premise.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to fake my death.
Yeah. But he shoots a gun up into the ceiling.
Suicide's not funny, but that's funny.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
And he has these buttons, and it makes like it's raining and thundering outside so he can keep ladies in his apartment. It's
is he Quagmire?
Yeah, it's funny.
All right. Yeah. I'm Cary Grant.
You don't want to go outside, darling.
Giggity, giggity.
I cannot do a Cary Grant.
You can. You're kind of doing it right. You're doing it right there.
Yeah.
Darling.
His not American, not English accent, his blended.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're fun movies. I'm actually really excited. I think tonight it finally came, and I waited a really long time.
Susie?
No. Close though. So he released some films through Fox, and they put them out on DVD, and they don't make them anymore. And one was I Was a Male War Bride that I really, really want to see. And I've been waiting and waiting, and I finally found it on Amazon through Second Spin for $12.
Dude.
And usually it's like $40.
I've never seen the film, so I'm going to borrow it from you, but not to bring it to my hero, but there's a great Jack Benny bit where someone does a Cary Grant impression, and they make a joke about how Mr. Benny may have supported the Marshall Plan, but I was a male war bride, and he just like runs off the screen. It's one of those like weird jokes where I'm just like, I was a male war bride, and I'd have to look it up and be like, oh, that's a movie.
Yeah.
Like, so that's why I want to watch it, because I'd be like, it would culminate my research period of that one joke.
Cary Grant's really great in it.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be this French soldier, and he doesn't even try like a French accent. He's just Cary Grant.
Oh, that makes total sense.
Yeah, and I mean, who cares?
I mean, dude, that's how, hey, you know what it is? Like, I haven't watched this movie in years, but it's kind of like Valkyrie, where it's just like, I don't care if they don't talk German. That's not the problem.
You don't need to,
Yeah.
And today, Kellen and I were just out and about, and so I decided to go watch Aladdin, and I actually really liked it.
Really?
It had way more energy than The Lion King.
You liked a Will Smith movie.
I like Will Smith every once in a while.
Okay, good. Okay.
The leads in it are really good. Will Smith is okay as a genie.
I think the point is that he didn't ruin people's childhoods everybody said he would.
I thought the Lion King remake was okay. I think the Aladdin one has more energy to it. I think the songs work better. And it's
got people in it.
Yeah, and Guy Ritchie isn't that great at shooting musical numbers, but he's really good at shooting, action and dancing and movement.
Yeah.
So that works well. The Jafar in it, maybe the weakest link, because he's not really menacing. I'm used to my Jafar being really overblown and really whatever.
A little more like it's kind of like Scar, but in human form.
Yeah, exactly. Not quite there, but it's still a fun movie. They have a new song, and they kind of change it a little bit where instead of Princess Jasmine just wanting to marry who she wants to marry, she wants to be able to be who she wants to be, and she wants to be able to rule Agrabah without and she can't because she's a girl, and she has a new like female power song, and it makes sense.
Dude, I like that.
Yeah, so it's fun. Like I mean, I recommend it. I was gonna give it 4.5 stars, but I gave it 4 stars because there's a horrible Will Smith rap over the credits. So I took away a half a star.
But dude, that you have to understand. That's all I've been wanting for the past 10 years was for another Will Smith end credit rap.
But I will give Will Smith credit. He doesn't try to outdo Robin Williams, where it would have been really easy to piggyback off of that. He makes it his own.
Yeah.
And I think that was really important for the film.
No, yeah, the moment he was cast, like the only thing I was just like, well, how's that going to look? It's not it was not the performance. I was just like, how are they going to like actualize visually the genie itself? Like, because I was worried about the blue or like however they were going to do it. And I mean, and this is not a joke. I do want another end credit Will Smith rap in a movie, so I will have to go see Aladdin.
No, you have to see Aladdin because it delivers it.
Okay. I also, how does the beginning chase scene look? Like the Street Rat musical number, because it's Guy Ritchie. Like, it's got to look great.
And they change how Jasmine a little bit, how Jasmine and Aladdin meet. It's still the same setup, but she's involved in the One Jump song.
Okay.
So that's pretty fun.
Neat.
Yeah, so it's fun. I was shocked watching it.
Does Will Smith do impressions as the genie, or does he just stay away from that? Oh, okay.
He just stays Will Smith.
Okay, cool. Right.
And I think he should.
Because I was going to be like, how's that going to work?
Yeah.
I don't think he could do a Shatner impression.
No, they kind of stay away from that.
Yeah.
And then last week, I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And this is maybe my second favorite Tarantino film.
Really?
I fucking loved this movie.
It's good, isn't it?
I think Leonardo DiCaprio is so good in this movie because he does a stutter in it, but it's not a cartoony stutter. It's a real one.
It's a sad, lonely, or just.
It's a great
performance.
It's a great arc for a guy who thinks he's top shit, and he's really not.
Yeah.
And he thinks spaghetti westerns are below him.
Yeah.
But as soon as he goes over there, he becomes, this huge star.
Yeah.
And Brad Pitt is fucking amazing in this movie.
I try.
Yeah. I read that Bruce Lee's family kind of had a problem with Bruce Lee's depiction in it. I don't. I think it's kind of funny. And you have to remember, too, and I think sometimes people take Tarantino films too literally.
Yeah.
Where it's revisionist history. And I think his revisionist history of the Manson murders is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Because one of my biggest fears ever is you're going to glorify the senseless murder of someone.
Right.
And, I actually got a tear in my eye when Sharon Tate went to see herself in a movie and people were enjoying it and she was enjoying it. I'm like, oh, it's just so tragic because they set it up that you knew what was going to happen to her.
Yeah.
And, but you don't. And, this is why I love Inglourious Bastards, too, is you take a moment in history that's true and then you put a Tarantino bit in it.
Yeah. And it works. Actually, I'm glad we get to talk about it a little bit because when we reviewed it on the show last week, I was still trying to process my thoughts. I had seen it twice. I was still trying to process my thoughts, and I've come to the conclusion. Like I ended up giving it 5 stars on Letterboxd, and I think that this is. It's hard to say mature with Tarantino because there's always going to be a level of excitement to it, but this is the most mature, and it is the most aware and contemplative and reflective he's ever been in a movie.
I think so too, and the reason spoilers for this movie, okay, because I have to talk about it.
Shit gets crazy,
but Tarantino's really good at always paying things off. You're going
to talk about my favorite part. One of my favorite parts.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
So, if you don't know the background from the Tate murders, it's horrible.
Yeah.
These people show up, they murder these people randomly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not really randomly. It's because Charles Manson went to that house earlier and the record producer turned him down and he didn't live there anymore and they decided they're going to kill all these people.
Which I thought that's the only scene with Manson in it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very tastefully done. Like, it's not like...
Yeah.
It's just for some reason, it just works. It brings the right amount of menace without... And Charlie is barely shown as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's mainly, like, behind shots.
Yeah, and through, like, the bushes and stuff. And so anyways, there was a moment when I'm watching this film and they get to the Manson murders. Like, when I saw the date come on the screen, I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And he shoots it like a horror film, and you go, oh, he's really going for it. And then, like, Leonardo DiCaprio comes out and he says, "Hey, you fucking hippie assholes!" And he just screams at him, and he talks about how much
private fucking road.
how much he hates hippies. And they go back down, and then they come back up, and I was like, oh, he's gonna have them confront Brad Pitt first. And I was thinking that they're gonna kill him and then go to the Tate home.
Yeah.
And then nope. They fucking kill that Tex Avery dude, or whatever fuck his name is.
Tex Watson.
Watson.
Yeah. I know the names. I do wish I didn't.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And so there's a moment, maybe 20 minutes into the movie, where Rick Dalton uses a flamethrower, and he goes, "Man, that's hot."
Do you think you could do about that heat?
Yeah.
It's a flamethrower, Rick.
And then, so in this moment where Brad Pitt kicks the shit out of these hippie girls and kills them, well, one of them, and then kills Tex, he throws a bottle of champagne. Is that what he throws at her?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah, and it smashes her face and really...
And it fucks her up, so she runs out and she jumps in the pool where Leonardo DiCaprio is working on his lines.
Yeah.
And it scares him, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And he gets out of the pool, and he runs away, and this hippie fucking Manson murderer lady's freaking out in there. And I love how he shoots us. You see DiCaprio's 2 feet walking.
Yeah.
And I know Tarantino enough where I was like, oh, shit, he's not going to. And then he fucking has a flamethrower and torches her. And then when they ask Rick Dalton what happened, he's like,
JC brings asking him. And
no, she's crispy. She's dead.
I burn her ass to a crisp. Well, I mean, didn't work out for her.
But I loved that revisionist part of it.
I'll tell you.
And that made it truly a fairy tale, which I felt it kind of was going for.
Yeah.
Because even the title gives it away, and you don't realize it.
Yeah.
It's like Drag Me to Hell. You know how it's going to end,
Yeah.
even though you're not sure. And this time it says Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So he's basically telling you that this is going to be the fairy tale ending.
Yeah.
This is not going to be... And I loved it because I didn't want to see something happen to Sharon Tate because Margot Robbie is so good in it. He shot it so well, and I felt that's what he was going to do.
Yeah.
And it would have been, it would have fit the movie, and it happened in real life, and I get that.
Yeah.
But I loved his revisionist history.
Yeah.
And I love that Sharon Tate made it because she's portrayed so well in the film.
I'll tell you, I've been thinking about that final shot all week. And I'm going to go to that movie again tomorrow, by the way. That final shot when they're going, it's the overhead when they're going up to the Tate driveway. And then it kind of plays that cue from Life and Times of Judge Roy Bean. And it's this kind of haunting Western kind of like tune to it. I got the feeling from that film, like, yes, it does end like a fairy tale. We live happily ever after. But when he says Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with the title and this kind of everything he's setting up, and I'm just like, I think Tarantino's both very happy he did this, but also very sad because he realizes that it's not the reality. Like,
yeah,
that's why I think it's melancholic.
I think it's on purpose.
Yeah,
because you see what could have happened. Because not only does Sharon Tate get horribly murdered, but I mean, look at Polanski's career.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Which I love that line where he's like, one of these days but I liked how Steve McQueen's is like, one of these days he's gonna fuck things up.
Yeah,
and it's it's not untrue. That doesn't mean nothing's gonna happen in that situation. But no, like, yeah, I agree with that. But my thing with the ending is that I find it interesting that this movie has been able to come along at a time when Hollywood is changing, not too dissimilarly from how it changed back in the 70s from one way of thinking to another. The circumstances of the change are different, but it's very prescient. I've been saying that this is Tarantino saying, look, I know I'm almost done, but if I'm going to go with a bang, or go on my own terms. And with somebody like Tarantino, I do respect him doing that. I still think the scene with him and Julia Butters, the kid on the Western set, where he's describing the book, but it's just really his life, is one of the saddest things I've ever seen in a Tarantino movie. I cried in a Tarantino movie. That's tough to do.
Well, they set it up so well because, that little girl is such a prepared actress, and, Rick Dalton is Rick Dalton, and so they do that scene, and I love how it's shot where the camera's movement, and he's like, line, and it has to move back.
And it's setting up as if though it was shooting a show. And I really dug it.
He goes in and he's mad at himself, and then they cut back, and his next day on the set, he's so good. He throws a little girl down, and she whispers in his ear, "That's the best acting I've ever seen." And he starts to cry. I fucking love it.
One last thing on that: the voice that he gives when he's like doing that, like face off with Luke Perry and whatnot. And he throws her to the ground and he goes, "Pitch her down a whale." And I was just like, wow, I have never heard Leonardo DiCaprio change his cadence that way before. Like, that was like a dial up to some kind of like old grizzled, like Lee Van Cleef or Lee Marvin kind of thing. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And I agree. We haven't given Brad Pitt anything. Yeah. And I'm not saying the Oscars matter. But can we give Brad Pitt an Oscar for this? I think this is the time to do that. And the way he shoots the Manson girls at the compound, like an army, kind of like zooming in. It's like, it kind of reminds me of like a zombie movie, just the way it's shot. And my dad and I went to see this, and he loved reveling in, like, because he lived in L.A. as did my mom in 1969. So they were around this. They listened to KHJ with The Real Don Steele and all that stuff. So for my dad, it was not even just a good movie. It was an old tourist trip of things he used to know. So
nice.
Because he used to go down Hollywood Boulevard. Like a lot of the stuff that he shoots was still there by the time he was old enough to walk down that area. Also, I'm glad Taco Bell changed their mascot from the one that they had back then, because that's not right. That's just wrong. But yeah, no, it's a wonderful film. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Because I was curious how you'd feel about it. So, cool.
Yeah.
Is that all you watched this week?
This week we saw Hobbs and Shaw.
Bum, 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 bum.
Zach, should people see Hobbs and Shaw?
Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, I would. I don't know how to express why I would still watch a Fast and Furious movie, because I've come to terms with the fact that it's never going to change, and I have to just start meeting it on its own terms. I will say, though, Hobbs and Shaw might be my favorite entry in the series precisely because it has very little to do with this series that's gone from essentially street racing to super spy shit. This one's just, oh, these are the super spies. That's all it is. All you need to know is that they fought in a supermax prison once, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because it has nothing to do with Toretto or family or, O'Connor or whatever. Like it, and those things are fine for those movies, but this one was fun. I think watching those two work with each other is fun. I didn't think it was perfect, and we'll talk about what bothered me in the spoiler section.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I mean, if you want to see The Rock and Statham just go at it for 2 hours,
yeah,
I mean, this is a movie you want to see. And it's shot really cool. I like the split screen of their day.
Yep. David Leitch really directs the hell out of this.
So I think it's fun. I mean, I knew what I was getting into seeing it.
Yeah.
And it's a fun movie. Here's a trailer for Hobbs and Shaw.
Get in the car. We're all going. Not you. I said we're all going. Oh, come on.
You might want to just... Is he doing what I think he's doing?
Yeah.
I was on survival.
60-40. Cowboy up.
myself. My name is Hobbs.
There's 2 of them and $2 billion worth of us.
If the 3 of us don't work together, billions of people will die.
Your sister is one of the toughest, baddest, most capable women I've ever encountered.
No one could do it better.
My kind of girl.
I see what you're doing. You think I'm stupid?
Of course I think you're stupid.
Oh, H to the OB. Thing ain't lie. I done came through the block and everything that's fly. I'm like, I never claimed I had wings on.
Woo! We're gonna need cars and guns.
Oh, I can handle that part.
I'm sorry to bring this here, Mama.
Luke, this is your home.
Go, Elekua!
You're gonna get one Samoan-ass whoopee.
I'm like Superman. Here comes a kryptonite.
Family never gives up.
Fresh out the frying pan into the fire. Oh,
No, this is not good. We're going for a ride.
shoot at you actors like movie directors.
Welcome to my island, mother.
Either love me or leave me alone. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is...
So from the get-go, I guess we should do the plot. Deckard Shaw's sister implants herself with a virus so that Idris Elba can't get his hands on it. Idris Elba is part of a super soldier program of some kind, being led by a mysterious voice who I'm assuming will be very important in Hobbs and Shaw 7.
Yeah.
And then they say who's gonna stop me? And then it immediately cuts to a split screen of 2 people who will not get along until they will get along. It knows exactly what it is the way other Fast and Furious movies do, except I think it's even more aware.
I think it works well because it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the Fast and Furious movies are fun, but when you cut away the fat of his family and you get rid of Vin Diesel, and it's just 2 dudes who don't like each other, who have to save the world, and they just fight people.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not as extreme as Ryan is on the Vin Diesel thing, but I do agree that Vin Diesel sometimes weighs a lot of things down.
He weighs him down because he's a producer on it and he's the star, so he forces himself into scenes that maybe he shouldn't be in.
See, I agree, and that's
whoa,
that's a fart. No, I agree, and immediately though what I see is that this film has a balance that the other Fast and Furious movies don't have. I think that's part of that's because you're only dealing with really 2 lead actors and then Idris Elba.
Guess what the fire sound is?
The fire sound?
Guess what it sounds like?
What does it sound like? That is fire.
That is fire.
Yeah, we put out the fire with gasoline.
Yep.
See these eyes so green.
And
I want to watch Cat People now.
But it works well too because I think it's so over the top, and what the fuck is Idris Elba's character's name?
Brexton.
Brexton.
Because
he is so over the top.
Yeah.
And the stuff with the Syndicate, or I don't know what the fuck their name is, where they control everything, is stupid.
Yeah.
When that stuff they start getting exposition heavy, okay, can we just go to them driving cars and beating each other up?
See, that's. I was worried because I was like, oh, this is going to take itself way too seriously, isn't it? And then it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, every time I think it's going to go down that hallway, it says, no, not going down that hallway today.
And I think that has a lot to do with the Rock being a producer and being the creative force behind it. Because he understands, and I remember reading an interview with him just recently where he says, this is what the movie is, and it's just fun. We're just going to go out here and have some fun.
Yeah.
And you can tell, and Statham is really fun in it. He's fun in a lot of movies. I wish he had more comedy stuff because he's great in Spy, and
I love him in Spy.
So to see him kind of stretch out, and Vanessa Kirby's great in this movie.
Oh, Ryan, I had a mad crush on Vanessa Kirby.
She
in this
does
movie.
well.
I did. I was just like, dang.
And it's cool too. I don't know how many movies go to Samoa. It's fun
None,
seeing
and that's
it.
why this movie is automatically amazing. Is because it will go to a Samoa, and it does a. We've got to have a montage scene in a way that was it worked. It was a great montage scene. It's shot like every other montage scene I've ever seen, but for some reason it's better here. Eddie Marzan with a flamethrower in frickin' Idris Elba's face, going like, "I'm not small," or like I'm not small change, and then he just blows him away. But we should talk about something that I thought was fun, but also I was not a fan of, which was the cameos.
I actually really liked Ryan Reynolds in it.
He's not my least favorite. I'll tell you who my least favorite is.
So I thought he was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Calling him Rock Rebecca, and
yeah,
it's just he's just silly in it.
I do like the line. It's at the post-credit sequence where he's just like, he's like, I didn't watch it. He's like, well, we got to talk about it because nobody wants to talk about the end of Game of Thrones with me. But yeah, no, I mean that's a fine cameo, as is Helen Mirren and whatnot. This is not to be. I liked the Kevin Hart moment on the plane. I wish they hadn't brought him back. I wish it was just on the plane.
Well, they set up that they need to bring him back.
Yeah, I know. It works. It wasn't my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I don't hate. It's not like I'm saying don't let Kevin Hart do this. It's more of just like I could do without this.
What I think's fun about it though is The Rock probably just called up his friends.
Yeah,
and
he's
saying, "Hey, you want to riff for a day on the set?"
Yeah, which I was like,
but actually, Reynolds kind of became a really extended. He's almost like I wouldn't even say it's a cameo in it.
He's a character
because he has that probably 5-minute scene in the diner.
Yeah,
and then he has the 1 or 2 minute thing with them on the phone.
Yeah,
and then he's in 2 out of the 3 post-credit sequences.
Yeah, I mean they probably shot his stuff really quick.
Oh yeah, sure.
I mean, yeah, actually Kevin Hart's character, it's funny, I like the idea of Kevin Hart's character. I just felt like that his scenes unfortunately grind certain things to a halt, but the scenes themselves are funny. Like, I do like Kevin Hart from time to time, and that was a funny Kevin Hart thing where he's like, "This is my voice." When you talk about this is my voice. No, that's not your voice. That's not what the word is. It doesn't matter. And he hands him his card. This is my email. This is my LinkedIn. And yeah, here's a juvenile gag for you. They have to change their biometrics and their ID photos and whatnot. So Vanessa Kirby's character goes in kind of nerdy clothing. Statham goes in a ski instructor outfit kind of thing, like Man About Town. And then Dwayne Johnson goes there, but Jason Statham changed his card to say "moi small cock" or something like that. I was just like, that was the dumbest 5th grade laugh out of me, going like, I was just like, this isn't good, but this is great at the same time.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. Every once in a while, it's awesome to see a movie like this.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't take itself serious. It's just fun.
Yeah. My only other big issue with the film, honestly, is I guess it's the obvious sequel setup with the head of the superhuman program, where he's just like, "Oh, you were proven to be the greatest enemies of mine ever. We shall meet again." And then goodbye for now. I'm just like, it was almost the equivalent of Skeletor, or not Skeletor, of Cobra Commander saying, "I'll get you, Joes," and then leaving the show. And it's like, well, that's the end of the episode, guys. Good night.
Yeah. It's supposed to leave you wanting, but all I want is to see Rock and Statham together. I don't really care about the other stuff.
That's the thing. I think it knows that that's why you're going, so this is just there to have an excuse to do it. But the thing is, I'd love to see, not Clerks, but something like Clerks with those two just talking, because I think they're really good at comedic timing.
Oh yeah, that scene where they're like, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah, that moment. I like how The Rock throws a chair and it just bounces, because it's that industrial steel, or the industrial glass. But and then the scene with Vanessa Kirby and The Rock in the interrogation room. And The Rock calls his daughter later, and he's like, "That might be flirting." He's like, "Nobody said it was flirting." And yeah, It was fun. It's fine. It's. I think ultimately I would rewatch this over any other Fast and Furious movie simply because it's not attached to that mythos. That being said, though, I think I'm going to actually try to finish up this franchise and give you an ultimate ranking.
Nice.
Because I will say, like, I
get better when The Rock shows up.
I haven't finished Too Fast, Too Furious, but I've seen the first 45 minutes now as of today. And I liked John Singleton a lot. I will say, like, for how goofy it might be, Too Fast, Too Furious is the one that's grasping my attention the best.
Yeah, it's in CNN the movies. John Singleton's in it a lot. I'm like, oh, and he's really good in it too.
You miss him, and you're just like, Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice.
Like, oh, he's really awesome, and he loves movies.
You're
and
just like, why didn't we give him more to do?
Yeah.
Fuck Hollywood.
Totally.
Anyway, what are we watching next week?
Next week, I think I want to do Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
I do too. The question is,
what's the other movie coming out?
I don't know. Can I look that up while you riff for a second? This is the story about Ryan. He is going to do some stuff.
Now, this is a story all about how my life got turned right upside down.
You don't like that song. You don't like that guy. You can't do that. Or can you? I don't know. Don't worry. I'll edit all this out later. July, August. Ooh, The Nightingale's coming out, too. Babadook director. I guess it's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. The Kitchen is also coming out, which looks interesting. Or Dora and the Lost City of Gold. I think it's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yep.
Unless you want to watch The Art of Racing in the Rain, which is Milo Ventimiglia and a dog have to solve their problems together.
Nope.
I'm good without doing that.
Yeah, I'm good.
And the Peanut Butter Falcon, which I actually think looks fun, but I don't think we'll be able to all find that in the same theater. Anyway, we will find a movie to watch.
Yep.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised when we picked out. We'll have to figure out how we're going to do the 14th, though, because I won't be here, and the only movie coming out is Blinded by the Light, which I want to see.
Yeah.
But I will not be available for that.
We'll figure it out. We always do.
Yeah, we always at Real Nerds Podcast figure out our shit until we don't figure out our shit.
Then we're just shitty.
Yes, shit. All right, until next week, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Nerds Podcast. Real Nerds Podcast is a production of Nebulous Visions Multimedia. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios for our kick-ass theme song. Also, if you're in the Denver area and you're looking for a cool place to see movies, we see them at the Alamo Draft House in Littleton and now also in Sloan's Lake. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics for supplying us with all our comic needs, especially you, Andrew. You know who you are. And a big shout out to James's mom. I'm giving you an electronic hug that you can feel through the airwaves. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.